Charlie Duprey, Portsmouth High School Clipper, 6'4", 185 pounds, attack, midfield.
best playing against the best. How do they react to the situation? How do they react to being on live television? How do they react to there being, 75 or 85 college recruiters right in front of them? And they're in a big moment. This is a big spot for them. And Coach Petramala, who probably modeled his game on Coach Petramala's a little bit, but they were some of the first people to really be both lethal defenders and lethal offensive players. I remember when Rick Beardsley played at Syracuse, we always felt when I was at Brown that the best offense that Syracuse had was when the ball was on the ground in their defense.
Those that you wrote online that I was reading in preparation to have a little conversation with you. Here's another quick shot go over the top by Duprey, and all of a sudden it's a 3-1 lead for the blue team. 3 different goal scorers, too, so they're distributing that ball effectively, aren't they?
Very well.
But I think whenever
the defensemen in our program in the next 2 years have some really talented people right now at Bates, but they're going to graduate in the next 2 years.
Game of patience. How's that old saying go? It was Radden who played it off. Boy, nice defensive work there. They just quickly closed that middle, didn't they?
Find the ball, and it's interesting to see what kind of teammates they are.
Goes Dupree with a miss to the short side. Boy, he's big and tall.
There are a lot of great athletes here at the Blue Chip 225, and that'll be true with
a lot of it depends on the talent level that you have. Your style of play is gonna certainly be.
Hot, go. One stop left. Who's got his two? You're good. Engage. One more. Recover. Good. Still hot, Sean. Break that, Tyler. Get through. Get through. Yeah, that's it. Drive. Break down. Get in. Right here, Brandon. Right here. Stop it. No break. We're good. Be ready to help. Break. Move it. Nice.
Mike, come get one. Mike, come get one. Come get one.
There you go.
Good ball. It's all right. Good ball, right? Let's go backside.
Get Patrick isolated on a guy. Let's find out with you guys and Jason. Pressure, ready to go at him.
All right. Get back. Nice job. Good slide. Bring him up. Fine, they will. Back up. Need top left. Good.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bryant University as we settle in for more Blue Chip 225 All-Star Lacrosse. It's going to be a great night tonight. We have the varsity game as our second game tonight. Our first game featuring the Elite All-Stars. And Ted, thanks for joining us last night. Ted Spencer, of course, the founder, director, I guess the bottle washer for this entire event here, doing a great job with the showcase. And you have a special guest joining us tonight, but I know you have something to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Don, it's great to be here again tonight, and we want to thank Bird's Eye Sports for doing such a great job broadcasting this live for everybody around the country. As you know, last night we had about 1,042 viewers from all over the country watching this, coaches, players, parents, and that's just fantastic. And we want to thank those guys for viewing in, and we want to thank, Bryant University for their great athletic facilities and this great campus to have Blue Chip 225. We're fortunate enough tonight to have a very good friend of mine here, Peter Lasagna, who's currently the head lacrosse coach at Bates College in Maine. Was a longtime coach at Brown University, both an assistant and very successful head coach at Brown. 94 NCAA Division I Final Four appearance, and the NCAA Division I Coach of the Year in 94 as well. He's been a two-time New England Coach of the Year, All New England, and a NESCAC Coach of the Year, and really, to me, a great friend, and also one of the great teachers of this game of lacrosse, which we all know and love, but also has been a great mentor and coach to many, many great players out in the game today.
And can I add, he also writes a column that I read earlier today online.
He does. Peter is features the column "Take My Whistle, Please" with Inside Lacrosse, and he does just a phenomenal job giving insights on the game and all about coaches, players, and what have you. So we're real honored to have him here tonight, and I'm going to let you guys talk about the game a little bit.
Excellent. Thanks, Ted. And once again, thanks for having us here and being part of this great event. And, well, Peter, here, as we take a look at this here in this elite game, what are you looking for now from a coach's perspective?
Well, obviously, these are people that have made very positive impressions in the last few days, some of whom we saw last night, but a number of these young men earned their way into the game during the day today. And so a lot of it is for us, we want to see the best playing against the best, and how do they react to this situation? How do they react to being on live television? How do they react to there being, 75 or 85 college recruiters right in front of them? And they're in a big moment. This is a big spot for them, and you want to learn if big players are prepared to make big plays in big games, and this is a great way to find out.
Well, Ryan Kanoki just scored, and he looks like he's got a pretty good shot off the right side as he whipped it home to make it 1-0 already for the blue team here. So as we're just underway, it's interesting. Also, I think you really can make a pretty interesting judgment in these showcases. You're playing that team situation where you're practicing day in and day out, and you do it for a couple of months at a time. You might get comfortable in a certain position. Out of your comfort zone, I think that's where the true talent comes to the top.
Well, that's really a very astute judgment. And I think that part of what we're looking for in this sort of showcase, as you say, most of these young men do not know each other, haven't played with each other before, and so it might be the most true measure of lacrosse IQ that you can find. It's an all-star game. So everybody's looking to draw notice to themselves, but what these coaches on these sidelines are looking for is, again, who has a high lacrosse IQ, who knows what to do when they don't have the ball on their stick, who knows what to do defensively when they're not covering the man with the ball. How do they communicate with each other? Again, they were strangers a few days ago, and they're teammates right now, so that's really a great point.
Desider scoring as he made a nice roll out from behind the goal to make it 2-0, the blue team on top. And also you create those friendships, and I think leadership comes out of all this too. You talk about the qualities of what you can do on the field, but I think you find the leaders out there too.
No doubt, and all of us who have been in this for a while understand that we're much better coaches with better players. We're also far superior coaches with superior leaders. They spend so much more time with each other than they do with us. We're looking for leaders, and again, this is you're throwing a group of leaders on the field. So, who's going to emerge as the finest leaders of the most select players?
Aloya had a chance behind the goal there for the white team, and it brings up an interesting point. And I think you'd admit to it. Sometimes the coaches get all the glory, and the star players, but then you have those hidden leaders that are in that locker room or on the sideline. There's a nice shot out top, make it 2-1, and could talk a little bit about that and how they're underrated to really bringing these teams together.
Well, I think that's a great point. We all know sort of about the stereotypical rah-rah person, but I know from my standpoint, and I know that virtually every coach here feels the same way. Who is the guy who is doing the things that might not appear in the box score? We just had a very nice goal. It was created by the first man who created the space for the second cutter who ends up getting the goal. And again, that's a selfless act. A guy knowing I'm likely not going to get it, but I'm going to draw a defender so that my teammate can be opened up and get the glory.
Mussolini able to benefit from all that. Oh, boy, that's too quick one, didn't it? That was Christensen as he was being dumped down. Quickly, they have two. Liam Christensen, nice job. One other thing is I've noticed from the high school game is overall you bring these elite players to the field here today at Bryant University is that, boy, that ball hardly ever touches the ground, and the shots are all lethal, or most of them are.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with the stick handling skills and the ability of the defenders to get. There are a lot of very athletic, very talented defensemen, both close defenders and long stick middies in this game, and their ability to get the ball up off the ground and start the transition game. The pace of this game, and you just notice in the last 2 minutes that we've been on air, the pace has just accelerated crazily, and most of it is because of the skills, the skill level and the ability of the defenders to get the ball up and out.
Has that really changed? Is that a part of the game that's really changed dramatically? Is the defensive part of it, defender part of the game with moving that ball up?
Well, I think to date myself a little bit, I could say that someone like Dave Petramala, one of the greatest defenders, maybe the best defender who's ever played the game. Rick Beardsley was another one a little bit after Coach Petramala, who probably modeled his game on Coach Petramala's a little bit. But they were some of the first people to really be both lethal defenders and lethal offensive players. I remember when Rick Beardsley played at Syracuse, we always felt when I was at Brown that the best offense that Syracuse had was when the ball was on the ground in their defensive end. So it's a huge part of the game now. We all want to encourage our long poles to, they have green lights to go over and start offensive thrusts.
I believe it was one of the articles that you wrote online that I was reading in preparation to have a little conversation with you. Here's another quick shot go over the top by Duprey, and all of a sudden it's a 3-1 lead for the blue team. 3 different goal scorers, too, so they're distributing that ball effectively, aren't they?
Very well.
But I think one of your articles you were talking about the attack and drive and how some coaches are starting to take that out of the game, take the air out of the ball almost a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think, again, I don't want to sound as old as I am, 53, but feeding and cutting are just 2 of the most beautiful aspects of the game as far as I'm concerned, and we all tend to be a little sheepish, I think. By that I mean we act like sheep. And so if something works for someone who's highly successful in Division I or Division II or Division III, or even the top high school programs, we tend to imitate each other. And so the best straightforward matchup that there is on a lacrosse field is a great offensive midfielder being covered by a short stick defender. And I think that we focus perhaps too much on that matchup. And I think we should get back maybe if we become better teachers again in terms of how to teach attackmen to be true attackmen. It's a more interesting game. I also think it's a more dangerous game. It's a lot more difficult to defend all areas of the field instead of just 1 or 2 areas.
That's a great point. I got a little bit of a philosophy on that too that I think I've seen it in other sports that we can get to a little bit later on. 3-2, blue team on top, and they're doing a nice job with control now. So now
that's a great
yes,
play.
indeed,
There's the feeding game right there.
able to move it out to the front. I was talking to Pensanawi earlier, and likable young man, and boy, all these guys so respected. You go over the sideline, you want to have a chat with them, maybe learn a little bit about them under some duress, some stress, and things like that. Time constraints as they find out they're going to make this all-star team. They come from a double overtime game about 15, 20 minutes ago, and here they go into another one, well, and they're as fresh as daisies.
Well, it's wonderful to be young. Also, remember that they played 4 games yesterday and 2 All-Star games, and another 3 games today, and there are 1 or 2 teams that I think played 4 games. We couldn't figure out, not enough math majors on the coaching staff to figure out how to do this matrix without having a couple teams play 4 games. So, yeah, it's really impressive. We gave them a little bit more downtime today, and hopefully in preparation so they could be fresh for this game tonight.
Blue team now on top by the score of 4-2 after that pretty goal a moment ago. So now we set it up. We'll have to find the goal scorer for you. From behind the goal now for the white team. Seeing these two teams make little runs here and there, Peter, with their possession time, and
it really is. It may be easier for great offensive players to be instantly good than for a group of great defenders to be a good unit.
Cirillo had a touch a moment ago. Pittered now from behind. He was pressured defensively, and that ball come over the sideline. So there's some of that defensive pressure we're talking about.
Maybe they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable with each other. It was the goalie called for a double team at exactly the right time and forced a nice turnover.
It was Tim Fair helping out, along with the goalie. Goalie's wearing his number on the front of the jersey, so I'll need a little help. That's Alex Castle, who played in last night's elite game and was terrific.
He's had a great week at camp.
Can you divulge some of these guys you really like, or is that something you don't want to do? I know that you might be looking to bring a few to Bates.
Well, I just for any of my rivals that are watching this game, I hope that they are. We want these young men to be exposed to as many people as possible. I'll probably keep my cards a little bit close to the vest. Let me put it this way: there are a number of people in this All-Star game, and a number of people that did not get selected for the All-Star games that I think would be fabulous players at Bates and great high-level Division III players and NESCAC players. There's a reason why we all come back to Blue Chip Camp, and it's obviously Coach Spencer does a wonderful job of attracting top-level talent. That was as vague an answer as I could give you.
I knew you weren't going to divulge anything. I had to ask, though, right?
I think you have to.
I thought you might give me one.
I had to be a little bit slippery.
How about the one you're not
Number
gonna
25. How about I'll give you that right now. That young man that just chased that ball out of bounds has been. I believe he's playing on Coach Sandler's team, the head coach from Skidmore, and he's just done a great job in a year when we are in need of defensemen. We're going to graduate the vast majority of the defensemen in our program in the next 2 years. Have some really talented people right now at Bates, but they're going to graduate in the next 2 years, and I would love it if I could convince number 25 to come up to Maine and take a visit this summer.
Max Carroll, and that's terrific to hear that. And you start talking about what these guys can do and how they impress, and it makes all this worthwhile, I think, for all of them.
Well, and I'll tell you, someone who was probably going to play at the Division I level, I would guess that was Mike Ryan from Falmouth, Maine, just made that run, and I imagine that Mike, who played in an All-Star game last night as well, has opened a lot of eyes. May not be a first stop for big-time recruiters, though certainly some great players have come out of the state of Maine, but Mike Ryan, I believe, has the skills to play anywhere. I mean, he's 6'2" or 6'3", left-handed, very athletic, lightning quick hands. I hope he finds a great home, not at a NESCAC school.
It's got to be one interesting thing, and to be a little bit bold about it, trying to recruit players to go to Bates in Maine. It's interesting. You think Maine, at least being from New England, it's like, well, do I really want to go to all that cold weather? I'm a long way from home. I'm not too close to Boston. I'm not too close to Portland. I mean, how do you?
Well, see now how I'm prepared to answer those questions. We're just a little over 2 hours from Boston. We actually get a lot of interest from New England kids. I think there are a fair number of people from the suburban Boston area who have a grandmother or grandfather who have a summer place on the coast or who come up and ski at the great ski resorts in Maine. We're about 32 miles from Portland, which is just one of the greatest, most interesting cosmopolitan cities. Great goal in the country. But yeah, if you detest winter, Bates is no school in Maine is probably going to be a great fit. But we have all the other seasons too. And what's nice is that if I can get people to visit in August, that's the picture in their head. And then February will be a pleasant surprise.
Nice work by Sanawi there as he scores. He had a nice assist earlier in this first half here to make it 5-2. See, I had to go backwards to try to let you get the plug in for your school. I couldn't be blunt about it. See,
that's very.
I got to put you in that defensive mode.
Very artful. I mean, it's an educational decision first. Obviously, you know, we're doing a lacrosse broadcast. All these men that are here, we're all professional lacrosse people. We are passionate about it. We love teaching the game. It's what brought us all here to Blue Chip and to Bryant this week. But obviously, we're in the education business, and they're going to be humans after college for a lot longer than they're going to be competitive lacrosse players. And it's wonderful to represent a school that is a scholarship for life.
Do you have to remind these guys about that fact, that important part of life, that there's going to be years well beyond your playing days?
Well, absolutely. I don't know how you approach this, but when I was 17 or 18 years old, I was thinking about playing lacrosse and football and a few other items. I remember it was a running joke when I would go visit places and I would come back and my mother would invariably ask me, "Did you talk to anybody in the English department? Did you speak to anybody in the history department?" And I would sort of look down at the ground and say, "No, I spent a lot of time with lacrosse people or football people." So they have to be reminded, and I think most of them get that message from their parents and certainly from people at school. But yeah, if you can make a decision that is going to prepare you for life and give you a chance to find out how great a lacrosse player you can be, that's a pretty wonderful combination. And most of the schools that sponsor lacrosse offer you that.
Quickly to that ball, Mike McQuiston. He's been terrific throughout this showcase over the last couple of days and had a big game last night in the elite game. Opened up a lot of eyes, including Coach Spencer's eyes. He really thought he had that terrific first step to buy some space.
Yeah, he's a tremendously quick, explosive player, as is this young man who is doing about a 4.5 40 down the field. He just runs through people 116. He's been doing that all week.
Reed McLean. Midfielder. He can fly, can't he? Now the Blue back on the attack. They have the 5-2 lead. Pete Lasagna with us, of course. Once at Brown, now at Bates, and boy, that's quite a difference, isn't it, between the two? I guess even in your coaching philosophies and how you have to take a look at it.
Well, it's similar in that the unifying features are. I've been privileged to coach outstanding students that also, as I said, want to find out how well they can play this game over the course of their 4 years in college. So I was prepared. The biggest difference for us, I think, specific to the NESCAC, is that we don't coach them in the fall. It's all, again, unique to our league. It's all captain's practice only in the fall, and that took me some getting used to. And quite honestly, I will continue for the rest of my time in the NESCAC to encourage my peers to open the president's eyes. I can think of nothing negative and only positive things if we could have a non-traditional season. But a lot of the reason why I made the move away from Division I and the Ivy League and my alma mater and to Bates and the NESCAC is, like many men in my profession, I married a woman who's smarter than I am. And so every time I kept coming up with a good Division I lacrosse coach reason why it wasn't the right time to make this move, my wife Holly spoke to me about all the other things that were involved in this move besides lacrosse.
Blue team controlling.
White had a very quick possession there. They could have used a little bit more poise and patience on that possession.
Yeah, I was just going to mention too, it looks like the transition game's starting to pick up a little bit, especially through midfield, and it kind of breaks down on them a little bit.
You're exactly right. They made a nice quick run there, and it was one pass and somebody tried to make a move.
Game of patience. How's that old saying go? You got to play faster than you think, or something like that, or the opposite way, you think faster than you play.
Yeah,
I get a little bit. Obviously, I wasn't very good.
The great players, it slows down for them at a high speed. That's the thing there. Their feet and hands can be moving at a really high speed. That's another beautiful goal. We needed a slide there in White.
It was, again, Sanawi, Penn Sanawi with a goal. He has been a dominating force here in the first half for that blue team as they open up the 6-2 advantage.
They've had a nice little run here, and I would say to articulate the obvious, White needs to win a couple face-offs here and get back into a little time of possession game.
Is this the time you do want to slow down that blue attack by perhaps spreading it out a little bit and being a little more patient versus trying to? You can't score 4, right, on one possession.
There is not a 4-point shot yet.
2 minutes remaining here in the first half. My pleasure to have Pete Lasagna with us. I guess Mike Brand's going to join us for the second half.
I must say, I hope I haven't embarrassed myself, but listening to Mike prep a little bit for this broadcast, I know he's done some TV work before. He is a trained professional.
Yeah, he came over. He tried to intimidate me, and I said, "Oh, no, I'm only kidding." He said, "Do you know where these guys are from?" I said, "Listen, I just got the roster 10 minutes before this thing started." So,
no. We'll see if he's done his homework.
Yeah, that's right.
Cross-reference the contact list to the. That's a great run. Here we go.
That was Radden who played it off. Boy, nice defensive work there. They just quickly closed that middle, didn't they? It was Liam Christensen trying to work his way through the middle. Now he'll go off the field on the far side for White. Tim Fair's impressed me, the defenseman here, defender to our near side left.
He's impressed me as well. I have a note on Tim, and virtually every time I've seen him play this week. He just got the ball back for his team again.
So field off that left. He's been the place setter. In the short period of time that they get to play, as teammates say, do they find the guy that you run that offense through? Or is that something that they might be missing in a game like this?
Well, you know, that's a really great point. You're taking a bunch of young men who probably are the most important offensive players for their high school teams, and so they're alpha males. They want to go find the ball, and it's interesting to see what kind of teammates they are.
That was Duprey with a miss to the short side. Boy, he's big and tall.
There are a lot of great athletes here at the Blue Chip 225, and that'll be true with the rising juniors and the rising sophomores as well. Coach Spencer does an amazing job, delivers such a wonderful product, and I think part of what also sets Blue Chip 225 apart is as you look at all these coaches that are, 50-something college coaches that are working with these guys all week. Great players are also getting coached and leaving here better players.
Well, Pete, we have a special to play here at the half as we put together a little piece highlighting some of the great plays from last night's action. And we'll have some words from Tim as part of it all as we took some of the long interview we had, put it all together, and also going to promote a couple of the great things that are taking place here concerning Blue Chip 225. I know you're going to run for the second half to do some more evaluations. Thanks for joining us. I do appreciate it.
It was a real pleasure. Thank you very much.
And hopefully we can do it again next week.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Pete Lasagna joining us. Let's go to that feature now, and we'll be back with the second half right after this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You can capture the game forever by purchasing the DVDs of the games played during the Blue Chip 225 showcase, including our live webcast games. It's a great way to build your recruiting reel. We offer a full video as we settle in for the second half. Ted Spencer's back to join us here for the second half, and special thanks to Pete Lasagna. Boy, is he a wealth of information, Ted.
Yeah, Peter is absolutely tremendous. He does such a great job, and he's fun to watch coach. He's fun to listen to, and everything else.
Blue team is exploding out. Why don't you put this headset on right here? There you go. That might be a little bit better.
Yeah, that's great.
Good. So the blue team leading 6-2 at the half, and when you were watching the first half on the sideline, Ted, some familiar names came to mind that are actually playing in this game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 66, I believe it is, Nicholas Gagnon. He's playing on the All-Star team. I believe it's the blue All-Star team. Actually, right now, could be that young man with the ball. It just released it. Has done an awesome job out there. His father, Tommy Gagnon, was one of the best attackmen ever to play at Brown University. Played at Moses Brown here, right in Rhode Island, and I played high school ball against him, and again in college when I was at UMass. And he was an All-American at Brown, and just a great player. And now his son's out here at Blue Chip 225, which is just a great thing.
I believe he goes to Milton Academy out of Milton, Massachusetts now, too.
Yes, and his father Tommy is the coach there. So, son of a coach, and out there representing his bloodline very well on the field.
McQuiston, who impressed you last night controlling the ball, they've done a little better job shutting him down here tonight. A little quicker to him.
Yeah, these guys have had a long couple days, and actually today they seem a little rejuvenated. They got a couple more breaks today, and they're out here playing great. So it's a lot of fun to watch. There was some great action on the field today, and these guys are it's amazing that these guys can play so many games and keep bringing it every hour.
McQuiston again shut down as he tried to move around Reed McLean, who did a nice job on him. There's a shot that goes off a post. Boy, that was just whistled by Sofield.
Yeah, Don, I'd like to give a shout out to Coach Michael Pressler, who's the head coach here at Bryant University, one of the best and maybe one of the best college lacrosse coaches in the game. Has been at Bryant, rejuvenated this program, and really put it on the map. And also, as you may know, was last year's head coach for Team USA. And last year when Blue Chip was here last summer, we had the privilege of coming out every night at this time and watching the world team practice. So it's just great stuff, some fun things here at Bryant. And it's obviously have great facilities and great program here.
And it's terrific to have it so close to all of us. Well, at least you live in California now, right? So
that's correct.
It's not close to you anymore, but it's close to me.
And while you say that, Don, I'd like to give a shout out to my hometown California boys out there and friends that I coach with, and we actually have some California kids out here who've done a tremendous job in these All-Star games as well.
We got one from San Diego playing in this game today, Cole Bowman.
Yeah, that's correct. We have the Azov kid that was in one of the games yesterday, did a great job, and they continue to grow and just I think impress a lot of people with their athletic ability and their lacrosse skill.
White team getting a little physical. Christensen will come away with the ball. That's a good long run. He's got some wheels, that young man.
He does. That's what we'd hope out of our elite players out here is some fast action.
Blue on the attack again. Another shot will ring the post. Boy, that was Robert Neal. One of those long pole defenders coming up into the foray. When you get that opportunity, everybody wants to score, right?
That's correct.
Now, there are teams that use their defenders more as an offensive weapon than other teams, and is different strategies from that point. You back guys and bringing them up.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it depends on the talent level that you have. Your style of play is gonna certainly be indicative of what kind of players you have. I mean, the better athletes and the stronger players you have give you the ability to play faster. But there is a point when you have to settle down and control the ball. And as we talked about last night, when you have significant leads, it's a really good time to be patient. And I like to think, frustrate the other team, try to draw a foul, and then play man up, which is a really, really fun part of the game.
Speaking of fouls, I think we only had one foul called last night. We have not had a foul called here today.
Well, you see the officials here; they're letting the kids play, which is great. Obviously, we don't want anybody to get hurt here, but I think these guys, playing a pretty clean game so far.
Pitter with a nice steal, good run, and Cirillo had problems with the pass, and they turn it right back to the Blue. There's a shot. Nice stop by the goalkeeper. Have to pick up the number on the front of the jersey there. Our numbers aren't TV friendly. That's something we need to improve on a little bit.
Yeah, maybe we have to make these numbers bigger.
There you go.
This is our first experience at this, and I think it's been great. We've reached a lot of people this way. When you attract kids from 38 states around the country, the most important thing to do is to be able to have the parents watch them from afar, which is really nice for them. And I think we had about 30 Canadian viewers last night, which is tremendous. So we've increased our numbers of kids coming from Canada, as we discussed last night, and it's great to have those guys watching tonight.
You saw a good view of Miles McCarthy, the goalkeeper, made a couple of nice stops for the white team. You also had a few viewers from England and a couple other European countries that just don't come to the top of my mind right now.
Well, I tell you what, going back to the Canadians, we have my good friend Rusty Smolkais, who's just been tremendous, brought Canadians down here over the last 2 or 3 years. He's the brother of the great Chris Smolkais, who's the head coach at Fairfield Prep in Fairfield, Connecticut, who's won numerous, I should say, state championships in the state of Connecticut. And as you know, down in that Fairfield County area, it's some of the best lacrosse in the country. And Chris's brother, Rusty, has been bringing his son down here the last number of years and has now been encouraging other Canadians to come here, which is really great. So I'd like to, say hello to Rusty. I know he's watching out there, and we miss him down here. He's always come down and spent some time with us, and it's good to know he's watching Blue Chip from Canada.
White team just scored a goal to make it 6-3. Such a small world when you think about it. I don't know how many times, at least a dozen, maybe 20 times if I watched the Jesuits compete. One of the top teams, as you mentioned, in the state of Connecticut in public school or private school lacrosse.
Yep, that's correct. I mean, as you know, down there in Fairfield County, you have teams like New Canaan and Darien and Wilton who, have had long-standing, fantastic programs and lots of state championships and have been competitive with the best programs on Long Island and so on. So it's a great area, a stone's throw from all those great teams on Long Island and New Jersey and what have you. One thing neat about Fairfield Prep and Chris Smolkai's been able to do is he's been able to play other Jesuit greats,
right.
Like Georgetown Prep and Chaminade on Long Island and a lot of those kids have come to Blue Chip over the years. So, and we have some Fairfield Prep kids here in our sessions as well. It's fantastic.
Blue team on the run, down 6-3. I should say they're up 6-3. Excuse me. Ball played out to the right side. White team's starting to put together a little continuity right now, Coach. As McLean, as he was shut down. Frey up ahead. McQuiston lobbed the pass up high. Was knocked down by Desideer. I was mentioning to Pete in the first half, and we did touch upon it, but the thing that pleases me the most about being involved with this showcase here at the Elite Division is how polite these young guys are. And,
I tell you what, they are great-looking kids, nice kids. They behave themselves well. I've just been very impressed with this group of young men, and it's a tribute to their high school coaches. It really is. We talked about that last night, Don. It's a tribute to those coaches. It's a tribute to their commitment to the sport and their attitude, and also their parents. The parents have raised their kids well.
Sofield shot scored. He's got a rocket off that right side. He scores again. That's his third in a row for the blue team.
Wow, fantastic job. If you notice there, we call that changing planes while you shoot. He has the stick low and the ball ends up high. Very hard for a goalie to pick that up. The goalie kind of bends down, gets low, and the ball sails high. It was a beautiful little shot, little flick of the wrist there. He made it look easy.
I'm going to correct myself. Sofield wearing that's his first. Two prior to that was Sanawi scoring those goals.
Yeah, Sanawi. Yeah. You have Penn's name right.
I got it right.
Last night. Yep.
Yeah. I spoke to him today.
That's great.
He said, "Don't worry about it. Nobody ever correctly pronounces my name." I said, "I don't think we were that far off last night. I have to go back and relive those moments."
Well, Sanawi sounds a lot better, and I'm glad we got it right.
Yeah,
apologize
absolutely.
to their parents for that one, but he has done a phenomenal job here at this camp.
Blue team again controlling, now up 7-3. Cameron McIntosh had that third score for the white team. That was pretty cool a few minutes ago.
This guy 174 right now. As you can see, he's loaded up to give himself a lot of room to dodge. The one thing he did wrong there is he didn't sprint into that dodge full speed. He sort of pitter-pattered up, and You know, when you have that much space, you really want to go at your defender full speed. But he's had a couple goals here tonight.
Yeah, that's Sinawi.
Yeah, Sinawi.
So the white team had Schultz to start the play. And they'll play it out to the right. So they're on their move. This is Max Carroll. Coach Lasagna likes this young man.
Well, this little guy right here, you're going to get every bit. You're going to get every pound out of this kid. He's tenacious. He's fast. He's got a great stick. He plays really hard. He's all over the ground balls, and I think that's why people like him.
You know,
the effort is tremendous.
You direct traffic, you know, for the 3-4 days the kids are here. It all comes to an end tomorrow with some very special games on Thursday. Maybe we can talk about that, where the teams actually get a chance to compete for some championships.
Yeah, tomorrow what we do is there are championship rounds. Basically, you know, we have a Final Four in both the varsity and the based on their records during the week and the elite division, and then they play a championship in here about noon tomorrow. And it does get very competitive. The coaches get into it. You know, these guys are, like Coach Lasagna said, are being coached by great college coaches. And they're, you know, 2 college coaches coaching per team, and sometimes 3. And then they have college players on the field also giving them advice and helping them out. It's really great. We have about 80-some coaches here on staff this week.
That's Newman for the white team, controlled out on the right. White team's get a couple quickly here. Cirillo with a touchdown. They'll rotate it back out top. This is Newman again. Wants to work on McQuiston. Went for the shot, tried to bounce it to the front. Tried to find that one through a screen right there, Ted. McQuiston on the run. He'll play it to the trailer. Smart move by Neal to pull it back out. Now they bring on the specialty players, huh? So now we on that left wing side, able to control it. Konowski was tripped up. He had the first goal of this game, Konowski. Getting the whistle. What's that for, Ted?
A high hit, Don. It's a high hit. You know, Don, we have some other great stories here at camp as well. You know, it's not all about our All-Stars. We love watching the kids during the week. You know, the kids that don't make All-Stars, there's a lot of great kids that come through here and have over the years, which is indicated by, you know, last year we had some data that went out of all the kids that were playing in, you know, last year's NCAA tournament. It was just a ton of blue-chip graduates who did that. And that's really neat. But there's a lot of other kids, like we said, that, you know, end up being great players in other programs that maybe aren't as big and popular. There's a young man here, a goalie, Connor Keene, and he is his father is battling cancer right now. And as you know, I'm a cancer survivor, and Mr. Keene's son, Connor, made a goal and commitment to his dad. He said, "Dad, I'm going to win a state championship for you this year, and we're going to bring it home for you." And he did it. And he's the goalie of that team. And it's a really great story of this fine young man who made a commitment to his father, who's going through real tough right now. And just like to say to Kevin Keene, you know, his dad, that our thoughts and prayers are with him, and we're thinking about him.
Absolutely, and I certainly second that. And positive thinking goes a long way, and obviously his son displayed that when he made that choice to say that he was going to bring home a state championship to him. So that's
there's some kids that have done some great things in this game, and it's more than just making all-star teams. So we're very privileged to be associated with a great group of young men.
McQuiston with that quick move plays it back behind the goal. Blue team playing with terrific continuity. Desadir back behind. See, after a couple of days, you feel like you start to know these guys a little bit.
Sure.
Huh? You know, the question I wanted to ask you, do you get a chance to evaluate the talent all that much as a director of this showcase? Do you get to watch all these guys, or you see very little?
Honestly, not as much as I would like. but I certainly, every opportunity I have. Obviously, I have a lot of responsibilities here running the show, and my great wife Denise has just been tremendous, in the organization of this camp, and really, commend her, and she really needs a lot of the credit of how this place is run, and we're so fortunate to have her. She's makes the whole process here easy for everybody. She's great, customer with the customer service end. She runs the best registration you've ever seen, and so we're very, very, very lucky to have her, and a lot of the success of this camp is because of my great wife. So
That's terrific.
Denise is her name, by the way.
Denise.
Yeah.
I'll have to meet her.
Yes, you will.
On the run, blue team. And I always heard that behind every great man is a greater woman. So
That's right. And you know what? There was a nice finish right there. That's that great transition game we talked about last night. Number 31 right there scoring, and Ryan Chelnacki showing great hands and poise, moving to the ball, getting his hands free, and sticking it home, making it look easy.
Yeah, you certainly did. Beautiful goal. Love those quick hands, too.